I'm Dr. Richard Redmond. I'm a plastic surgeon who's been practicing in the Richmond area for about 27 years. My office, the Advanced Plastic Surgery Center, is a screening clinic for the Shriners Children's Hospital. Most people think of the Shriners as the guys in the parades, and I actually drive one of the little cars in the parades. But we do that for exposure, and everything we do is to raise money for the hospitals. And that is our mission, is to keep the hospitals going, keep them at a center of excellence. We don't want mediocre care. And that's just the focus of everything we do, is the hospitals and our kids.
About a year and a half ago, we found out about a ministry called Reese's Rainbow. They open up a grant account for each individual child, and people can donate money into the grant account. But we wanted to, support the kids, and so we donated some money into their accounts. And after Christmas, then we were looking to see how those kids' accounts did, and that's when we found Aaron's picture. When we first committed to him, we knew he had arthrogryposis. But we didn't know the extent of his condition, because basically they told us that he was mildly affected. And we were kind of a little bit overwhelmed at that point. How were we going to get him treatment? And that's when a friend of ours sent us an email that there was going to be a screening clinic in Charlottesville for Shriners. And so we Googled Shriners and Googled the hospital up in Philly and realized that they specialized in children with Aaron's condition.
At Shriners, we were able to get his legs treated to the point where he can now walk fairly normally. He could use some gait training, but he's much more able, after treatment at Shriners, he's much more able to walk without falling over. He's much less of a danger to himself, so he's much better off after the treatment he received in Philadelphia.
This is my daughter, Aviva. She was born without her lower right hand and arm. Dr. Adkins recommended Shriners, and we started going down to Shriners in Greenville. It's a wonderful, wonderful hospital and a wonderful experience. It was wonderful because they took care of all of her needs right there, and we didn't have to go from doctor to doctor to prosthetist. They saw her in the clinic, and her needs were assessed.
It's so much different than a regular hospital, and there are murals all over the walls, and there are animals and toys, and it's so much more of a children's environment than a hospital.
One of the first things you see is a toy wagon. They have a wagon beside the reception desk, and it's usually brimming over with toys, and they just encourage you to take one if your child wants one. They give away, they're so generous with stuff like that. Unbelievably generous with children.
It didn't feel like a hospital, and I thought that was really cool, because when you walk in, there are fountains, and it's not a hospital.
The hospital in Greenville, which is like no hospital I've ever seen before, you cannot tell it's a hospital when you walk in. There are murals everywhere, there are animals, there's a stream running through the lobby. It's just an amazing place, and it's not perceived by children as a hospital. It's a place to go to do something. The staff is fantastic. All they deal with is children.
The nurses and doctors are so amazing, especially the nurses. I speak Hebrew, and we had a nurse there that spoke to us, and they have different nurses that speak different languages, so people from all over come.
The staff is not opposed to us actually going from room to room and talking to people and making connections, and it's like a family, because these people, they know Aaron, we know their kids, we are meeting them as we go up, and it's so you kind of have a family atmosphere every time we go on the floor. Where's everybody? We all make connections.
The Shriners, they're a blessing. I mean, they are a godsend. We've been on trips, sometimes we've shared the van ride down with people who have flown here from other countries.
Besides the Shriners Hospital, just the drivers, and just having them willing to take us and working with us. I mean, we live all the way in Palmyra, and they come all the way over there from Richmond and get us and take us. And it's a long day, and not a word of complaint we have never heard in all of those trips, the 13 in a row trips. Not one time did any of them complain.
I am amazed when you stop and think of the work that they do, and the service that they provide to so many people and people in need.
My office here is going to be a, quote, perpetual screening clinic. If you have a child that you think can be helped by one of the children's hospitals, such as orthopedics, burns, cerebral palsy, cleft lip and palate, call my office. I would be glad to see them free of charge. We'll do the screening, fill out the application, and forward it to the appropriate hospital. If the child is approved, then we get back with you and set up the initial visit at the hospital and arrange transportation.